It was the worst thing that ever happened to us or me or, you know, and it was, I don't know, it was just so, we were like at our peak and then boom, it happened and it freaked us out real bad, the survivors. But it was just almost too heavy to talk about. You know, it still is. It's been a long time, and I still can't talk about it much because we were such a family, and we all grew up together, and we were high school buddies and little league buddies, and taught each other how to drive and about girls and how to cuss and all that. And so as brothers, you know, and how to fight. Had a, you know, we just did everything as teenagers first, growing up. So it was just very, very hard, and you know, it was the worst thing, like I say, in the world. But that was for me. So I'm sure these guys felt it in different ways, and we just thank God that we're still able to play the music that the guys that help write, and we just keep doing this to share the story of Lynyrd Skynyrd and to play the music and to do what our brothers would want. You know, when you write songs, you want them to be heard, and so we're just keeping it going, and the fans are with us, and it's a great thing. So we just, I don't know, I thank God I can't really talk about it. So.
Well, you're doing a good job. I know you guys did a quick little tribute shortly after the crash, but about 10 years later in 1987, you got together for a tribute concert, which was only supposed to be a one-time deal.
Just after we did that tribute tour in '87, we did like a month of touring, and all the places we didn't go, the promoters and fans wrote in, and that was pre-internet, I think. It was before that, and they wrote letters in saying they wanted us to come to their town, and why can't we do this or that? So we kept it going, and then it just never stopped. There was no reason to, you know, and it was for the fans, and we realized we were just sharing our music and our story about Skynyrd and the guys that weren't here anymore. And that was a great thing, you know. That's what they would have wanted, I'm sure. That's what I would want if I would have not made it. So, so we just keep it on.
Yeah, for me personally, after the tribute tour, we actually took a little time off, and it was almost like the family disbanded again. You know, it was like, oh Lord, where's everybody at again? You know, it felt good to get out and.
Well, I wanted to find out what went through your mind when you were asked. I mean, first of all, how were you approached to take over as the lead singer of your brother's band?
For one, nobody could never take over Ronnie's spot. And people ask me all the time, how's it feel to fill his shoes? Hell, he never wore shoes. You know, so I didn't have to worry about that. You know, he had broken his ankle in high school playing football, so he had pins in his ankle. So a lot of times wearing shoes would hurt his
Well, being from Florida,
we didn't have to.
So literally, you did not.
Literally did not.
Were you ever hesitant though?
Yeah, sure. I mean, definitely. I mean, Gary asked me to be a part of it, and you know, and it took a while. I actually took my father, Lacey, was alive at the time. Went in a room in it's called Bay Meadows there in Jacksonville, Florida, and Alan was there, and Gary, and Artemis, and Leon, and. Let's see, Ed King, everybody, you know, who pretty much had been in the band up to that time, and of course who had survived the plane crash was in that room, and was wanting to do this, and you know, it freaked me out. I'll be honest with you, I was a Lynyrd Skynyrd fan before I was offered to be a part of it, and so I was like, because I grew up around the music, you know.
Yeah. Well, you were a musical family, you and your brothers.
Yeah, and so my first thought was maybe me and Donnie both can do it, you know, and. 38 was riding high at that time, and his schedule wouldn't allow him. You know, they were doing really well at that time, and so anyway, I talked to my dad and my mom and my sisters and Donnie, and said, you know what? And the third whole thing was, look, we don't want the last thing for Lynyrd Skynyrd to do is to have an airplane crash. You know, and that'd be it. Be done. And for me, I mean, by them saying that, there was no way I could say no. You know, and then. We agreed, we said, let's go into rehearsal and just start playing. As soon as we went into rehearsal, it was
natural.
So much fun, yeah.
Well, what a lot of people don't know, too, is Ronnie was, he had nodes on his throat or vocal cords, and he was thinking of maybe quitting and writing songs and managing us. Wow. And he wanted Johnny to come sing with us, but this was just behind the scenes, what we were thinking of, maybe in the future.
Really?
So we kind of knew that Johnny might be with us one day anyway. He was singing in his own band.
Wow.
And this was just, Ronnie would talk about it here and there sometimes, you know. I'm going to quit anyway and let Johnny do it and just manage you guys, you know. So it happened.
I always said, though, people have asked me how it feels, and I said, you know what, one time I seen B.B. King, and he had this guy that would walk out, and he had a towel and some water for B.B. King. I said, sure wish I could have done that for Ronnie.
Aw.
You know?